Let's see if this is live. All right, there we go. I think I'm live. So this is about a week overdue, and also I have been really just pondering over all of this to make sure that I can kind of put it together and have the right words to be able to even make sense of this. But as many of you may have noticed, we're in a bit of a shaking, a little bit of a shifting time for everybody, and that is both on a collective and very much so an individual, including myself and almost everybody that I know. And I just want to encourage you to continue to stay and kind of give you an idea where we're at. Like tomorrow night, actually is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, which is traditionally a time for us or the shepherd's rod, where we take note of where we're at and what we're doing, and we make new choices. There is, as you know, love looks like a lot of different things, and I want to specifically talk to you about holding the plumb line and making sure that everyone can remember and understand that even though this is uncomfortable and new, that it doesn't make it wrong, and not to go back into the comfort zone just because it feels better. It's not going to feel better to go back to the old ways. We have come this far and we have to keep going. What that involves is holding the plumb line of truth, love, honor, order, and remembering God in us, remembering love in us, and staying. I say remember, meaning to remember, to come together, to be in alignment with God, who is love, and make choices based on that feeling, from that perspective, from the love perspective. Now, when we have, quote, others or outside forces that come to bait and or get us to, quote, shake or feel something outside of, in that lack of comfort, it's easy to look at the situations or the people and to put blame there. And I'm also going to tell you that we're just using those people, and those things are just surfacing. We're using those people to bring that up so our DNA can shift, so it can come up, and we can touch it, and we can love it, and we can shift it out. Sometimes people, us, do not make new choices unless we're sort of, quote, forced into it or feeling like we have to. And it's interesting how we will use others and or situations to see where we're really at, to be a mirror to where we're at. Holding the plumb line, let's talk about that real quick. So when you hold the plumb line, what I mean is to stay in your truth without apologies. And pain is a great teacher, honestly. And sometimes when people are given opportunities to stay and to make new choices, they don't make new choices. They go back to the old comfort zone, and they stay in the trauma loop of the DNA genetics of what they are. And as we know, each choice that we make creates a code. That code goes out into the biofield. The biofield is dual, both electric and magnetic, and then we get more results based on those choices. So how do we get new results? We have to make new choices. And with each new choice that comes around, we have the opportunity to change the code. When we change the code, guess what happens? We change the biofield. When we change the biofield, guess what happens? We only get what we are. So if you change the code in the biofield, then you actually change the outcome that comes to you. Your outcome becomes your income. I have a whole book on this called The Science of Miracles. And there is a lot of suppressed kind of stagnant gray DNA energy that's coming to the surface right now. And especially with this Rosh Hashanah thing, I know some people are fasting, some people have called, and or I have found out that there are across the board multiple things going on with multiple people right now. And it's okay. Tell yourself that it's okay. And and look at the country. The country is in its version of shaking. So why not us as individuals have our own individual version of staying and making those new choices? When you're coming up against anything that's less than love, which is sin, there's a dissonance. It doesn't resonate with love. It's out of tune. And when we come up to the plumb line of love and we stay, that sound is uncomfortable for anyone not in that sound. And, I can tell you myself that this year has been a year of new choices for me, of having to stand, having to stay, having to love myself first and make those choices. And honestly, it's easy to say. It feels like I had no other choice, but really we have the choice the whole time. It's just that we didn't make those new choices. And so if you're feeling like personally that you're backed up in a corner right now to have to make some hard choices, and they're not hard, cancel clear, they're just different. And if you're seeing a year of really having to stay and stand and make the choices over and over and over again to hold the plumb line, to hold order, to hold truth, to hold love for others and yourself, to hold space for you and your children, for your family, for your neighborhood, for your churches, for your job, whatever the situation is, as we stand and we stay, we are doing that not just for you and your individual thing. You have to understand that with each choice that we make as individuals in our version of staying true, that is adding the code to the collective on the earth span. I can think of someone, and maybe you know who I'm talking about, who has had to really, really stand for this country right now, and he's been doing it for a while. And even when everything has looked crazy, and out of order and in distance, he's been holding the plumb line. And there are people who are standing with that plumb line. And you have to understand that we have our individual version. And if we don't make those individual choices and do our version with victory and success, then we will not shift as a collective. This is time to stay in order. This is time to stay in love. This is time to stay in truth. This is time to make new choices. If the choices that you've been on haven't worked for you, this is the time to make a new choice. To remember and follow the gut. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. When we take that tissue out of the tissue box, another one pops up. But we first have to make the steps of what is right. And when I say right, there's not a right or wrong. It's what is righteous, what is true, what is love. Think on these things. What is a good report? When that is the focus, we make room for that. We make code for that, and that goes into the biofield. Paul talked about how God at one point just turned people over to the lust of their heart. The heart is the most magnified electric generator that we all have. So whatever our heart is focused on, if it's lust, or not lust of the flesh, meaning greed, or choosing things that aren't necessarily our best, our highest, then there is a lack there. There is something less than love. That is, quote, sin. And I don't mean sin in the context that most of us have been brought up in. I mean literally lack of love. But when we choose love and when we choose union, oh man, I'm gonna get him. When we realign and we stay, when we stay in love, and that is our focus, and that is our only choice, we will see a new outcome. And as we can do this on a collective, we can see something really amazing happen in our world. I'm reminded of, last week, I went to my parents' house, and my mom had found this journal or notebook that I had from when I was a teenager, and in it, I'm just looking through a lot of stuff, and I had written a letter to my dad. I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and in the letter, I'm talking to him. Apparently, I don't even remember what I did, but I must have did something, because we had gotten into an argument or a pretty heated discussion, apparently, and I had some consequences for my choices, and I wasn't happy with the consequences. And at the time of when I did it, I guess I didn't see why my father had made those choices. I don't even recall what the situation was about, but I'm just saying that I must have not understood why he made the choices that he made and why he gave me the consequences, because the letter written to him was me apologizing and me basically in the end saying, but I guess that's what dads do. Dads who really love their kids. They gotta make the hard choices. There's a bigger picture out there. And it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about where we are as a collective. And this is the time that we have to make, we don't have to, but we get to make the choices individually that can literally shift the entire world, to stand up as individuals in your version and actually do what is righteous, what is honorable, what is orderly, what is loving, what is truthful for you, for your family, and to actually stay in that alignment. And as you shift, you are not only shifting for yourself, but you're literally changing your DNA. You're literally changing your biofield, and you're adding to the collective with not just the leaders of this nation, but God himself, who is love, who is truth, who is righteousness. We are co-creators, and we are born to manifest. We're born to create. I know that we can do this. I know that it's uncomfortable. And yet I still believe. The word believe means to be alive in it. I still believe that our outcome can be righteousness, it can be truth, it can be love, it can be order, and it can be union. That we can establish some set of guidelines and stay in love. And it requires all of us. It requires all of us individually and all of us collectively. And, you know, for those who aren't willing to shift, the consequences are there, and there is a great teacher. Like I said, pain is a great teacher. And like I said, we will use others to get ourselves so uncomfortable that we feel like we're forced to have to do something. And then we do it. And I want to encourage you that if it feels scary and uncomfortable, not to give up, not to go back. Just continue to stay and continue to make the right choices, continue to shine, continue to be light, and know that what you're doing matters. I don't know about you, but you know, I had a dream about this roller coaster, and there were all these people on this roller coaster, and some of them I knew and some of them I didn't. And I don't personally like roller coasters. I don't like scary movies. I don't like scary anything. And for me, I don't like paying people to be scared. I can make up my own stuff on my own and have my own fear-based situations clear. But in the dream, I had decided to get off the roller coaster. And all of you are there right now with me. Everyone gets the choice to stay in the trauma loop and the signature code that's looping back right now to try to get us to stay, or we can move on to a different code. And but it is our choice. It's your choice. It's my choice. And I just want to encourage you that if any of you have shakings going on in your life personally right now, that you are not alone, that this is not you feeling crazy, that this is exactly where we are right now, and especially with Rosh Hashanah coming up tomorrow night at midnight, it's going to be a time this weekend of just looking to see and evaluating where are we personally as individuals. With the shepherd's rod, the shepherd would come and he would like look over the sheep and see where they're at. And hopefully we can take this time as individuals to look and see where we're at. Where are we? And imagine and use that co-creative power to imagine where you choose to be, not where you currently are, but where you choose to be. And use that awakening, activation, imagination that's your personal gift to shift things for you in your world, for your DNA. Epigenetics is a real deal, and we can do this. And again, like Robert Stevens would say, and he's on here, I think, it takes all of us. Every cell within us is a God-given cell. Hold the plumb line. Hold on to love, stay in love, realign, remember, and believe. And we got this. I believe in you. I believe in us. I know that we can do this. And I am secure. I trust God. God is the only power and presence acting here. Take a deep breath and let's have a great Rosh Hashanah time this weekend. And I'm voting all of your victory. All of you. I love you all so much. Please just continue to make new choices that will give new results. All right. Talk to you soon.